Welcome to Financials with a How. Today we look at a new aspect on how do I budget. Now we pick up from the conversation we had last time, just understanding types of budgets and how we are going to make it work for us as we continue on this making wealth journey. A lot has to do with the needs you have, a lot has to do with your preference, a lot has to do with the current situation in life where you're at. And this then becomes the direction you take as you build up on the kind of budget that you want to execute. To make it work for me, I decided to create a personalized approach. So I'll share briefly a template that I've been using, and we can unpack it together and see how best to make it work. Here goes. This is a template I've been using. As we progress, we'll see I've divided it into different areas. One, I've started with an income area. Then two, a savings area. Then I've gone into an expenses area. And within the expenses, I've also divided it a bit further, trying to separate the monthly and the annual, or biannual, just trying to look at the different types of expenditure that happen in the course of the year. I've also looked at it by monthly, starting from the income, or monthly, sorry for that, and then further just multiplying it so I could see what it looks like into the year. Then I've created a month by month breakdown. The purpose of this is just for the clarity on how I'm budgeting, now spending every month. So this is the budget, what we are seeing here, and the month by month is what is actually going out. So this works for me. I decided I wanted something interactive, something I could grow with, so kind of process by process. And for me, it's the Excel sheets. I do well on the computer and all of that. But if you're happy with apps, there are quite a number of apps which you can be able to follow through and see how well they work for you. So the income part is pretty easy. I just started with 100,000 to make it work, then multiplied it by 12 to just show what it looks like at the end of the year. Sometimes when you see the big picture, you realize how much you handle in a year and the potential you have to do more with it. Then right after that, I put what I'd call my fixed expenses. Some of these are even prior to me receiving my income, especially if you're salaried. And of course, if you're in business, then you have a different kind of structure. So one, for me with my faith, I definitely give a tithe. Then next, there's the tax, which goes cut off before I receive the net salary. And then there's what I've written as an HIF. This is the health fund. And then further down, you'll see NSSF. This is the social security fund. These are government statutories. So again, deducted even before I receive my net salary. After that, I've begun working on a savings plan. Now, based on the percentage method you use, if based on the budget you use, or if you use the percentage method, for me, I've started with a minimum of 10% of my gross. Based on the income I have now and the cost of living, I currently live in Nairobi. This is the most practical way I can start. But if you note, it's a minimum. Depending on how my months flow, I go higher. So there's a SACCO. SACCO is a cooperative savings, which I give a certain amount that goes off from salary also, because where I work, I'm able to get that from salary. But if you don't have it from salary, please feel free to do it as a first thing once you get your income before you even spend. Then there's further down here what I've called the other investments. So the other investments are things that I'm interested in: the stock market, investment funds, collaborated saving schemes with my friends or family, treasury bonds. I've also placed an amount which I'm working towards in that direction. Then there's also the pension. Now the pension is two-pronged. The social security one is government required. Then there's an additional pension. So this currently, for me, I've taken up an individual pension plan. This enables me to just work out what can I give away towards my future. And currently in Kenya, it has a tax deductible benefit. So it means I'm able to get a bit of my regular tax just because there's a high amount I'm giving towards my pension. Then I come further down into expenses. Now, to make it easy for me, I use percentages a lot, as you will see. So I've worked it out that my rent does not go above 32% of my net income. or 40% of my gross income. And that's on the higher side, like that's the maximum. I ideally work to stay below these numbers because then I'm not just living off or living to pay rent, That's the reason why I'm working. So I'm also very keen on that. Then when it comes to electricity, water, and security, I work with about 5%, not more than that. Or sometimes I just factor it into the rent because given some of the places you find housing, you might find that some of these costs are already calculated within that. Then when it comes to the monthly shopping, I've also used a percentage to help me balance that off of about 15%. Now months vary. There are months where I tend to do bulk shopping and I've broken this down quarterly. So every quarter I know there's a major shopping I'm undertaking. Then month by month, I'm managing just replenishing and things like that. Then transport, I've also worked with not over 15%. Now, this is an interesting place because for transport and rent, I tend to look at them concurrently because sometimes you could opt to live in a place where your commute is very easy. You walk to work, you take only one vehicle, or you're driving, so it's a very short distance, or you don't need to use your car. So then that kind of balances out because sometimes the rent may be slightly higher, but there is no transport cost. Then the next cost are the periodic shoppings, the things like the cooking, gas, medical expense, travel periodically for family and other activities, clothes and shopping, and then entertainment. Many of us forget to put entertainment in our budget or just some sort of self-care, and then we feel so deprived. So this is a core part of budgeting for me. I ensure that that is inculcated. And the final thing, which I encourage each of us to work towards is an emergency amount, where many times we've had it said, and we've even discussed in one of our videos, between 3 to 6 months of living expense away, money that is cash or accessible, fluid money, money you can reach quickly. And then if there's any debt that you're clearing, also allocate an amount to it and find a debt strategy that enables you to ensure this debt comes down. So this is a bit of what I'm working on, and this is just an idea. There are many more. I'll share additional links that will help you out as you continue on this journey of how do you budget effectively. Thank you for listening to me. It's been great. It's a how.